Now, here in Nigeria, there's been angry reaction to the introduction of a new levy on electronic banking transactions, with some saying it will push them back to using cash. The central bank has told financial institutions that the 0.5% levy is intended to raise money to enhance cyber security and will take effect in 2 weeks' time. But the trades unions and many ordinary Nigerians have reacted angrily to the announcement, describing it as bad timing and a wrong move, and accusing the government of imposing additional burdens on Nigerians at a time when they are struggling to get by as the country experiences its worst economic crisis in a generation. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Arise's political editor, Sambo. Good to see you, Sumner.
Thank you so much.
Just in a nutshell, tell us what this levy is about and why it's so controversial.
Yeah, this levy has been imposed by the Cybercrime Act 2024, which is an amendment of the 2015 version. Now, Nigeria is a signatory to the Budapest Convention, where in 2015, about 66 countries actually met to improve the rate of curtailing cybercrime across the world. Sometime in 2022, we still had some of those countries still coming together, and I think there are about 68 countries now, but Russia is not part of it, and some other countries, because they are a bit scared of what's happening and they think it's pro-West and all of that. So you would have remembered that there was a high-level conference on counterterrorism not quite long in Nigeria here, where the National Security Advisor hosted that conference. And so this is part of the resolution to actually counter cybercrime at a higher level, to align national and regional laws together to ensure that internationally Nigeria actually aligns with what the world is doing in terms of curtailing cybercrime and all of that. Because there's been lots of cybercrimes coming out of Nigeria, and then of course the government is trying to tackle it. But then the implementation of this provision of the Cybercrime Act 2024, Section 44 of its subsection 2A, actually says that there should be a deduction of 0.5%. And the controversy now is whether it's 0.5% or 0.5%, right, or 0.005% levy. And the CBN had actually opened a National Cybersecurity Fund with it, where these deductions will be put in there. And then of course, there are lots of companies that are asked to put, like GSM companies and all of that. Now, the second arm of the controversy is if individuals, customers, should be paying this levy or not. But the circular by Central Bank of Nigeria now is saying, that everybody should be paying and all of that. So Nigerians are saying that the taxes are becoming too much. Now, you're saying the Tinubu administration says it's going to do the ease of doing business, improve on the ease of doing business, cut on taxation, because there's a committee that's been put in place and all of that. But we keep saying tax is coming up every now and then again. But also, many Nigerians don't take their laws serious. I mean, where were the federal lawmakers and Nigerians when this issue was being passed by them? Did the federal lawmakers actually do enough public hearing for Nigerians to actually know that there's this law when it was amended not quite long ago? Because it's a new act in 2024, though it had been there in 2015. So in a nutshell, there's not enough communication as to this. And I can tell you something, Charles. Last year alone, Nigeria engaged in electronic transactions worth 600 trillion naira. So now, if you're asking for deduction of 0.5% of that, that's quite a huge amount of money. And people are questioning, including the manufacturers, the chambers of commerce, and all of that, and asking, the huge chunk that will be going into this National Cybersecurity Fund, how will it be managed? Well, the government is saying that they have an advisory board in place to be able to take care of it, and there are different people, but the advisory board is domiciled in the office of the National Security Advisor. Right. Wouldn't there be huge influence by the government? And that won't the funds be too much for it? So people are saying that let there be a cap. For example, 500 naira for all transactions, not making it the way it is at the moment, but the conversation continues.
Right. So the levy does not take effect for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, until another 2 weeks. Yeah.
Right, at least. But there's been a lot of pushback against it. I mean, we're hearing of civil society organizations talking about going to court, and the labor unions are saying they're not going to. I mean, do you think the government is going to go ahead with this?
Well, Sarah, for example, one of the CSOs has given 48 hours, which will be expiring by tomorrow on this. And one of the key demands is that this should actually be put down entirely. The government should not think of reconsidering it at all. But just today at the Parliament, at the House of Representatives, they asked that it be stepped down. But Nigerians are wondering, should it totally be put aside or should be stepped down?
Yeah, because the issue of cybercrime isn't going to go away.
Yeah, I mean, it won't go away.
Yeah.
But the controversy is actually on that 0.5% and or 0.005%. What exactly does the act say? The Nigerians need full understanding of it. But the labor unions are saying that the taxation is increasing too much under the Tinubu administration.
Right. Okay.
And it will affect the ease of doing business. But of course, we also have to conform with international laws. But if other countries are not conforming to it, why should we, Nigeria, also be in a hurry? And then with this huge chunk...
Especially when we are all broke.
Yeah, with this huge chunk going to the National Cybersecurity Fund, what people are saying is that they need to know what the steps are for implementing it, what the monies will be used for, and then the steps that the government has already taken in place. And why can't the government actually fund it itself? Why does it need to get the monies from the people?
Very legitimate questions. You should go and meet the president.
Well, those are the questions that the presidency will have to
answer. Or at least the
answer.
National Security Advisor, because those are very important questions.
Yeah.
Samna, thank you very much indeed. And it's good that you keep asking them. Samna is Arise's political editor. He's also Arise's director of news.